Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to give you 6 tips that you should know about before you start using exercise to manage your scoliosis. But before I do that, I want to tell you about a 6-part video series that is going live on Monday. So it's an all-new video series. If you watched some of my old ones, that's great, but this one is a new one. I'm filming this as we speak. So it's all about how a movement approach to scoliosis works, what you need to know, and if you like that, I will give you the opportunity at the end of the 6 videos to join my course, which goes live in September, on September the 11th. So if you sign up below, there's a link that says scoliosiscorrectionprotocol.com. Sign up there, you'll get access to my 6-part video series that I'm filming as we go. And obviously you can ask me questions and things like that underneath here, and I will address those in the video series if I get them in time. So it's a real-time series, it's brand new content, and I'm really excited to get this off the ground. Now, if you want to join my course at the end of this, it actually will start on September the 11th. But you have to be on the early bird list, get access to the videos in order to be able to join my course. So without further ado, I want to talk to you about the 6 key things that you should know about using movement to manage scoliosis. You need to know what type of curve you have. Before you can put in any exercise intervention, you need to have it tailored to your curve. Now, I've got a video that goes into this, to how you get x-rays, what x-rays you can ask, how to do the Adams test if you don't want x-rays, how to do it from home. And I'll link to that in the comments as well. Sorry, not in the comments, in the description. So you have a link to that. I'm not going to go into huge detail, but that's the first thing. You have to know what type of scoliosis you have. You need to be as accurate as you can be in the movements. So for example, let's say I have a curve up here that goes this way to my left, and then it comes back into my lumbars. So I have this an S-shaped curve. If I'm doing a movement like this, I will actually be putting movement down into my lower curve to make that one worse, but I will also be correcting my upper curve. However, if I can keep that movement into my upper curve, maybe I move my arm like this or using my head as the instigator of movement, and not allow that movement to come into my lower curve, I'll be more specific in addressing that upper curve. So keeping the movement as accurate as possible. And another way would be if I have a rib hump on my right hand side here, which is common with a reverse S-type of scoliosis, I'll also potentially have a thickening in my lower right back. If I want to move those ribs forward, if I overdo it, I will end up creating movement in my lower back, which will add to the thickening there. So I really want to keep that movement into my upper back and rib area only, and not into my lower back. So be as accurate as you can with the movements. When you are changing a spine, the movement of the spine or the direction it is in traveling in scoliosis, there may be some soreness associated with it. Now, if you're 13, 14, 15, you've just found out you've got scoliosis and you're doing some corrections and you're creating a bit more mobility and strength in the muscles around your back, that's fine. You probably won't feel any pain or any soreness. But if you're 70, you've had a scoliosis your whole life, and the joints and the little the facet joints and the discs and the nerves and so on, they've got used to being in a rotated and side bent position. When you start using specific exercises to correct those positions, you may experience some soreness. But there's a difference between making something worse, like irritating the arthritis, irritating a joint, irritating a nerve, and muscle soreness or a little bit of joint soreness that you might get from moving something that hasn't moved for 40, 50, 60 years. So knowing the difference between something that's bad for you and something that's irritating but eventually going to be good for you is important. Now, one of the main differences is this. If I'm working on my lower back, and I get stiffness the next day in my lower back. Not when I'm doing the movements, but the next day. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, I feel that, that's sore. But it goes. Now that is a good type of pain. It's a pain that shows you that you've challenged the muscles. It's a pain that shows you that you've moved the joints. But if I'm doing the movements and I get a shooting pain down my leg, and I get maybe some numbness in my toes, that is a pain that's irritated a nerve. And that irritation could come from a variety of areas, but we don't really want to irritate the nerves too much. And so if you find that's what's happening, then you can change a few things. You can change the speed at which you're doing the movements. You can change the distance in which you're moving. So for example, if I'm doing this, that's quite fast, I can slow that down. And if the distance is from, let's say, from here to here, I can change the distance from here to here. And you can change any weights that you may be using. And you can change, actually the fourth thing, you can change the number of repetitions and the amount of sets you're doing. So there's lots of different variables that you can change to create the right environment for your body to get better. A lot of my clients who do the scoliosis correction protocol don't look at their whole body. They don't look at the way they are moving in their everyday life. They get too myopic. And this also happens with the medical world. You may have a scoliosis. You go to your doctor and say, what can I do? And they say, well, let's wait and see if it gets worse. Okay, that's fine. Let's give you some painkillers. Right? Okay, that might be necessary. Oh, let's do surgery. Whoa, 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 whoa. We want to concentrate all those resources, cut someone open, put rods in their spine, or tether something because of the back is bent with scoliosis, but we're not going to address anything else in the body. Well, what if there's a leg length difference? What if the pelvis is off because of that leg length difference and causing that scoliosis? What if there's a difference in the bite? The teeth are the hardest thing in the body. What if they aren't aligned properly and causing the scoliosis from the top down? What if their work position is rotated? What if they play an instrument that's always one-sided? There's a lot of different factors that can go into maintaining a scoliosis or making it worse. So it's worth stepping back, looking at the whole body and addressing all those areas before even thinking of something like surgery. Okay, number 5. When we're dealing with pain, which is common in adult scoliosis, especially the older you get because the joints can get a little bit irritated through the asymmetrical loading, which means loading on one side more than the other, we can address the inflammation. And one of the ways to address that inflammation is through diet. And so looking at what you eat can actually help you reduce pain and therefore do more exercises and start to manage your scoliosis faster or with less concern about the pain. We can also look at things in our environment that may be creating inflammation. So is there something in your house that could be causing inflammation? Recently I did a podcast with a gentleman who was an expert in mold. Now, is there mold in your house? Is there radon gas in your house? There's a few things in your environment that could actually be affecting your body, the way your body moves and the way your body reacts to the stress of the scoliosis movement. So deal with inflammation any which way you can, whether that's dietary or environmental. You will then be able to use the exercises better and more freely to get the muscles to be stronger, have more endurance, and have more mobility within your joints. Okay, number 6. We want to address the whole body when it comes to health and fitness, because if we just do scoliosis exercises and we don't strengthen up the hips, then the pelvis might not be in the most ideal position to help the rest of the spine either slow down that progression of the curve, stop the progression of the curve, or even reduce the curve itself. We also want to look at the feet and the knees, the strength in the back, the strength in the core, the strength in the shoulders, the mobility of the neck. So having a whole body-wide approach is, in my mind, the best way to address the scoliosis, as well as doing the scoliosis-specific exercises. Okay, guys, so we've got the 6 things that you should be thinking about when attempting to use exercise and a movement-based approach to scoliosis. But also don't forget, I've got a 6-part video series that I want you to watch where I go into more detail on all these areas and actually share some of the exercises I do in this as well. And if you want to have access to that, it starts in a few days' time, Monday the 29th of August. So put it down, put your email and your name down with that link below, and I'll send you those videos as I make them. So it's interactive, so if you've got a question, you want me to answer it in one of those videos, just message me and I will put the answer into the videos. All right, take care.